Hi everyone! You've decided to move to Costa Rica. You've decided where you're going to try living. You've decided what you want to bring with you. Now, how do you get yourself and your things to Costa Rica?
Join us in this episode as we go through how we made these decisions, how we got down here, and give you things to consider when beginning your own journey in relocating. Welcome to
Poly in Paradise. When we decided that we were going to pull the proverbial trigger and move to Costa Rica, the second question was, how do we get there? There are people who just jump onto a plane and fly to Costa Rica. There are people in North America that drive to Costa Rica. Undoubtedly, a trek of a lifetime, but a choice that few decide upon in the end. And we've driven all the way from the Alaskan Brooks Range down to Mexico. For us, like many people who moved to Costa Rica, we chose a multi-tiered solution that required a lot of compromises and trade-offs.
We're like a lot of people. Our pets are part of our family. It's fairly straightforward to bring your dogs and cats with you into Costa Rica from the US or Canada, or even the EU. You need the following. For the US, you need a USDA accredited veterinarian signed international health certificate. It must be endorsed by the Animal and Plant Inspection Service, APHIS, and issued no more than 14 days before travel. A similar process for Canadians. We'll put the links below for more information on both. You also need proof of up-to-date vaccinations administered at least 30 days before travel and good for at least 1 year. Your veterinarian will be able to tell you what the current vaccines are needed for your dog or cat. And finally, they need to be treated against internal and external parasites.
Each airline has its own rules regarding flying with pets. It is critical to find out the exact rules for the specific airline you may be flying. There are differences based on size and breed as to whether they can fly in the cabin, in cargo, or if they can fly at all. It's important to book early, as there are also limitations as to how many animals can be on a single flight. Each airline has specific requirements for their carriers. Last but not least, the time of year impacts your flights. We came in June. That meant we couldn't fly midday because in the US, the heat on the tarmacs was too extreme.
We chose Alaska Airlines to fly to Costa Rica. Alaska is known for being pet-friendly, and some of the other airlines still had COVID-era restrictions in place. We ended up having to overnight in Los Angeles because our Scotties were too big to be allowed in the cabin. Well, not without them losing a few pounds first. Our puppies flying in cargo in June meant that we needed to fly in and out of LAX in the early morning or late at night.
Upon arrival, your pet is supposed to be inspected by officials from SENASA, the National Animal Health Service here in Costa Rica. And your documentation will be reviewed at that time. We arrived around midnight, and they just passed us through without even looking at all the documentation and forms that we had so painstakingly completed. We were so tired, we chose not to say anything about it. You will also need to take your pet to a licensed Costa Rican veterinarian for a follow-up appointment within 14 days of your arrival in Costa Rica.
There are other options. Pet shipping companies will handle all of the paperwork for you for a fee. We'll include links to a few of them below. Pets can also be shipped as cargo, but that requires an import license. And finally, some people will bring their pets along on a chartered flight. An expensive option, but if you can't come without your Great Dane, that's a possibility. A future video will go into the details about these private options, some of which are also involved in animal rescue operations here. Unfortunately, pet birds can't be imported into Costa Rica. Now, we hadn't checked before, but in preparing for this video, we did find that you can bring in rabbits and guinea pigs. Agricultural animals are also permitted, but it is a far more complex process. For any other type of animal, we strongly suggest checking with the Costa Rican embassy in your country before making any concrete plans for moving.
In addition to the four-legged members of your family, you are likely to be bringing stuff. What to bring is a topic we covered in our What video. Tied very closely to what you bring is how you're going to get it to Costa Rica. Each airline has its own restrictions and fee structure for additional luggage or cargo, and it's definitely worth a deep dive in research to prevent it being a deeper dive into your pocket. This basically comes down to the following questions. How many pieces can we bring? How big can each piece be, its dimensions? How much can each piece weigh? And finally, do you have any special items? Bikes, musical instruments, surfboards, etc. Finding out the least expensive solution to bringing everything we wanted to bring certainly proved the value of those high school algebra classes.
The cost per baggage depends upon several factors. For example, many airlines charge a higher rate for each piece past your second bag. If you have that airline's credit card or are a frequent flyer, you may get additional bags free. If you're a member of the military or military dependent, you may also get additional bags free, or at least an additional size or weight allowance. Now comes the dimensions, the linear inches of your baggage. Linear inches are the height plus the width plus the depth of the baggage. There is usually a size limit for the standard fee, then an additional fee for oversized bags up to a maximum size.
Similar to the dimensions, the weight of the baggage is usually limited for a standard bag, then an additional fee for overweight bags up to a maximum weight. Get yourself an inexpensive luggage scale and weigh your bags at home before you go to the airport. That $10 scale may save you a $150 overweight charge, or at a minimum, it'll prevent you from repacking your bags at the check-in counter and prevent all those angry stares from the people behind you waiting in line. Here's where the algebra comes into play. We bought crates that were the maximum linear dimensions that Alaska Airlines would allow for oversized bags. We used these as our extra bags and loaded them to the maximum weight allowed, because at the time, Alaska wouldn't charge all three fees. If it was an extra, overweight, and oversized bags, they would only charge for two of those fees. We used our standard size luggage underneath the oversized limits, loaded up to their standard limit weight to avoid any fees on those. By working these limits through all the possible different variations, we were able to bring down more things for hundreds of dollars less. Add in that each airline has its own different limits, and the savings can run into the thousands. My mom, a math teacher, would have loved it.
Special items usually have their own unique fee structures and sometimes can be brought in addition to your regular luggage. Another consideration are luggage embargoes. At certain times of the year, especially near Christmas, some airlines will limit the number of bags that you can have on any one flight. The last thing you want to have happen is to plan all of this out, weighing and repacking everything multiple times just to arrive to the airport and hear, well, normally you can do that, but not today.
Last but not least, make sure to prominently label your luggage and include a second label inside the luggage, along with extra zip ties to seal it up if it needs to be reopened. One of our totes didn't make it to Costa Rica with us on our move. Having labeled every piece and keeping a list of it, we were able to easily talk with the airlines, who delivered our tote to us the next day, even though we were in Nosara and had flown in to San Jose.
And there was a powerful storm coming.
And there was a big storm.
Then there is the cost of the airline tickets themselves. There is a lot of advice out there about when is the best time to buy tickets and how. The best advice that we have is to figure out which airlines work for the route that you are traveling. Then consider the cost of the tickets and baggage fees together. Costa Rica currently has 2 international airports, San Jose, which is really Alajuela, and Liberia, in Guanacaste. Based on the choice of where in Costa Rica you want to start your journey, discussed in our Where video, there is usually one or the other that you want to fly into. We chose San Jose even though it was further away than our initial location in Nosara. Our choice was based on the days of the week and hours that the pets could arrive, which is more restricted in Liberia, the ticket costs, and our onward transportation.
We've found that flying into Costa Rica late in the day has its advantages. Each time we've arrived late at night, we have breezed through immigration, customs, animal checks, etc. with hardly a glance. A shuttle to a nearby hotel, good night's sleep, and then we head out to our final destination the next day. We took this to another level in our move. We arrived at midnight and took 2 shuttles, remember, a lot of luggage, dogs, and people, to a nearby hotel. We purchased our truck before we came to Costa Rica from Price Automotive, then located in Perita, but now in other locations around the country as well. They delivered the truck along with a free loaner trailer to the hotel we stayed at the following morning. By noon, we finished the paperwork for our new truck, had a relaxing breakfast, and were on our way to Nosara, arriving there before night. Since then, sometimes we've arrived late and had a driver in a van pick us and our luggage up at the airport and drive to our home. That gets us home in the middle of the night, but it does eliminate the cost of the hotel and any airport shuttle to offset the additional cost of having a driver.
And we get to sleep in our own bed that night. So, how to get to Costa Rica and a little bit of when? Our choices were based on bringing our pets with us, the combined cost of our tickets and baggage fees, as well as our decisions on how we were getting to our first new home. Once we eventually found the perfect spot for us near San Isidro de General and committed to building a house there, that set us on a whole new path of living pura vida. So hit that bell if you want to be notified when we post that and other videos. Thanks for liking, subscribing, all of those things, and join us next time on
Poly in Paradise.
Hi there, YouTube. Hope you're enjoying our content. Don't make Max sad. So please like and subscribe to follow us on our adventures.